here's another topic that you're not going to see or hear debated on mainstream news. So please subscribe and contribute so that we can keep presenting ideas and facts to Canadians so they aren't just in the dark. Years ago, I was acting for a mining company in the Yukon. I was dealing with the Sedene Hess, local tribe, and it was a commercial contract, and they did very well with that. And I learned more about the tribe. It was run by women, there was no alcohol, and no drugs. The men, it had been earlier when it was run by men, it had been a mess. And the women cleaned it up. Greg Piasetzki was a lawyer, a libertarian, if I can put it that way. And you've done some research into our Indigenous population, Indians, as some call themselves, and alcohol.
Absolutely.
Your turn.
I mean, the story has a long history, and people might be surprised or might not. It's not in the news much now. But the idea that residential schools were the problem, is not the case. The more fundamental problem is alcohol in reserves. And this was an issue recognized as long ago as the 1700s when the Hudson's Bay Company, who made a lot of money trading, stopped trading alcohol because it was such a disaster for Indigenous Canadians. And
isn't that somewhat paternalistic?
Absolutely.
To say that...
absolutely. But you have a civilization that's 4,000 years ahead of another civilization. They have some moral responsibility, I think, to avoid giving them all the worst of our civilization when they hadn't had a chance to adjust to it.
And I've read stories or accounts where alcohol impacts different people differently. We know that.
It's true, although most people say there's not a race-based differential on it, but there is a gene missing in some Asians that makes them more sensitive to...
Yeah, we have friends. Everybody has a friend who can drink three glasses of wine and be fine. Another one who would do that and be on the floor.
Absolutely.
And so it may not be race-based, but there is something with our Indigenous population and alcohol. So, well, what's the answer to it then? Because there is a problem still with children on
absolutely, and the problem is huge. The problem is, just to give you a little bit more of the background, as early as the first colonial inquiry into alcohol in Indians was in 1830. And they were looking to see, not about alcohol per se, they just wanted to see what are the issues holding back our Indigenous Canadians. Alcohol was the number one reason given in 1830. The British colonial government immediately banned the sale of alcohol to Indigenous Canadians. Macdonald's government in 1867, first government of Canada, banned alcohol. Every succeeding government banned the sale of alcohol to Indigenous Canadians until 1960, when the Supreme Court of Canada, in its wisdom, decided that that was discriminatory, and they struck down the law, and it was left for each band to try and enforce a ban, which was practically impossible.
And yet the Sedene Hess, they did it, but not too many bands do that. So many people telling other people what to do, I guess, or maybe not enough of them. Great, thanks very much.
Thank you.
3 minutes. To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago, we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act, once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.